Good evening from the mountain. You're listening to My Alaska Backyard. This is Greg. It's about 7:36 p.m. local Alaska time. It's snowing to beat the band, and it's about 32 degrees. Good evening. Nothing like the flight of the Valkyries to get you going, eh? Ah, amazing. Well, here it is, Thursday, November 16th, 2017. In the 21st century. Wow. Things are really clipping along here, aren't they? Next thing you know, it'll be Thanksgiving next week, and a couple weeks after that, it'll be, oh, so what, 3 weeks after that maybe? Or is it 4 weeks? It'll be Christmas, and then New Year's Eve. Yeehaw! On the December 21st, we'll hit the winter equinox, and instead of losing daylight in Alaska, we'll start gaining time again. Maybe a second. And then the next day, another second. And the day after that, another second. And then 5 seconds, then 10 seconds. And, well, it's minutes, and then hours. And then it's spring, breakup. We're looking at like 4.5, 5 months of winter till then. Enough to drive a person insane. Oh, mighty. So, well, let me give you an idea of what's going on in the area. Well, I don't know about you folks. The big news in the lower 48 is, I think that the tax bill passed the House of Representatives and is going to the Senate, and from there to reconciliation, and we may even get some tax relief finally. There's some people in this country that are paying, and these aren't rich people, just normal people that probably, middle class, lower middle class people that are making like 60 grand or less a year, some of them just above the poverty line. When you add up their taxes, not just the income tax, but the various user fees, your taxes on your groceries, your fuel, everything you buy. You got your city taxes, and then you got some places you got county taxes on top of that. If you got to have licensing, like if you had a small business, there's licensing fees, and there's taxes, and some places even having things like inventory tax, and before you know it, the government is taking probably about 90% of what you make, man. It's just insane, and the people that don't believe that we need a tax relief are insane. They're crazy. Up here in Alaska, we are a cyclic economy. For some time frame, we'll have growth, we'll have low unemployment, and then we'll peak out, and then we'll just crash. We'll just come right down and crash, and we'll have massive unemployment. Businesses closing left and right, bank failures, real estate crashes. And then it goes full circle again, and it starts back up. Well, right now we're in close to an ascending peak in the economy here. Well, no, when you think about that, no, That's entirely wrong. We're not ascending. We're in the troughs. Okay, we haven't made the circle yet and started up the hill. We're at the trough, and in that trough, they want to raise taxes. They want to give us a state income tax. Okay, they want to, in the city of Anchorage, which is the main supply center and a population center in Anchorage, in Alaska, in the state of Alaska, they want to start adding additional taxes on fuel. Right now, fuel is about gasoline, unleaded, like $3.15, $3.20 a gallon, and they want to add like a 20% tax increase on top of that. You know, so this is nuts. You know, it's just it's insane. Instead of us striving to employ more people and open up resources and stuff, we're just taxing ourselves to death. You know, after you spend everybody else's money, what are you going to do? You know, socialism seems like it's a really great idea to some socialists, not to anybody that has a half a brain. But once they take all the money and distribute it, that's it. You know, there's no more money coming in. It's you know, they've destroyed the incentive for people to work. You know, why in the hell should you work if you can go down and get supported with welfare? You know, why should you work if you can get free food? You know, I mean, you don't have to be living out on the street as a drunk or a drug addict and stuff. But you got to have, if you're physically able, there has to be some incentive for you to do something, and that's to earn money. You know, and to earn money, you got to get up off your ass and do it. If the government hands it to you, then you don't have any reason to get up off your ass. And you know, you're not going to create more wealth. The wealth that you have is going to be blowed out, used up, and then that's it. You're all in poverty. Everyone's in poverty, except the elites, the ruling class. They'll always have the best food, the best medicine, you know, the best lodgings, you know, best, most beautiful cars. Your rulers will always do that, and you'll be doing stuff like you'll have a little hovel of a shack that's part of a complex where you work 12 hours a day. You know, you'll eat in the factory restaurant, which is will be a cafeteria. You'll ride your bicycle. You know, and that's it. You'll have one light bulb in your house. That'll be your electricity. You know, you'll get to eat, and that's it. That's the extent of your life. You'll be a drone, a biological drone working for your elite rulers. If that's what you're looking to do, continue on the path you're on, because that's where you're going to wind up. It's really, it's sorry that it's that way, but it is. Oh man, we had to go into Anchorage today for some medical tests, and while we were in there, you know, we drove around a couple different places, doing a little bit of shopping, and I was freaking amazed at the stupidity of bicyclists. You know, there's about an inch of ice on the road, right? And packed snow. It's you know, it's not too cold out there. It's probably like 20 degrees or so, which isn't bad. But Anchorage is is not. I don't want to say it's a small city, but it's a medium-sized city, and we have thoroughfares in there that are 4 or 5 lanes in each direction, right? And usually the speeds on those highways are like 65 posted. Maybe they'll drop down to 45 in some places, but mainly 65. And remember these. There's driving on at least about an inch of packed snow, maybe ice. Okay, and 3/4 of the people don't have their snow tires on yet, or their studs, because this snow it was expected, but it's still early in the year, and there's only so many hours in the day to get your tires changed over. So there's a lot of people running around, that still have the summer street tires on. Okay, I'm not one of them. I've got 4-wheel drive pickup truck with studded snow tires on it. So I'm cruising down the road. I'm doing maybe the speed limit's 65. I'm doing probably 50. Okay, there's 5 lanes of traffic, and we're just kind of banging down the street. And I look over from the left, and there's this fucking moron on a bicycle. Now, he didn't got these big, huge tires, these flotation tires or winter tires or nothing. He's riding a fucking Schwinn bicycle, one of the lower end. This is not your mountain bike thing, your $2,000 mountain bike. This is your low end bicycle, and he tears across 5 lanes of traffic, and I'm going in the other 5 lanes, and I'm in the nearest lane towards the medium, and I'm doing 55, around 55. I see him. I start slamming that brake on, trying to stop, because with his momentum that he had going there, he was going to come out into the road, and he was going to be a hood on him and on my truck. And I don't know how I did it, but he stopped just instantaneously before his front wheels got onto the road surface. And I go, God damn, these motherfuckers are stupid. Why the hell is he riding a bike across these frozen roads and shit through the snow in the winter, not at a crosswalk? This guy wasn't at a crosswalk. He was on the middle of the freaking highway. He was crossing the highway. He was crossing 10 lanes of traffic, 5 in each direction, on his freaking bicycle, and he was hauling ass. He's going to get killed, or he's going to cause somebody to sway. And when you're driving those at that speed on that much compact snow and ice, you start swerving, you're not going to have control. You're going to lose control right off the bat, and you're going to wind up, careening into somebody else's car. That's going to cause someone to hit another car, and it's going to have a big, huge chain reaction. And these fucking dumbass bicyclists that do this shit should be shot. They should be allowed to be shot on sight. That's my beef for the night about Anchorage. There's a reason we call Anchorage Skankerage with a S. Okay, because Anchorage is so freaking corrupt, and the home of so many freaking dumbasses. This is insane. They never. I used to commute into town to Anchorage on a daily basis. During the winter, for the last 8 to 12 years. Before that, they did a pretty decent job of keeping the snow picked up and the roads plowed and open. In the last 8 years or so, they run out of money like after the first snowfall. So it's really amazing. You can see the state maintained road going into Anchorage when it hits Eklutna, which is part of the city of Anchorage, right? The roads go from bone dry and clear to packed snow because the stupid fucking administration won't spend the money to plow the freaking snow off the road. And that road is used by tens of thousands of commuters daily. And consequence of that is when it snows, there's what we call ditch divers. Every fucking mile and a half or so, 2 miles, all the way in the 50 miles into Anchorage and all the way back out the 50 miles. Every few miles, there's a freaking car in the ditch. Okay? Those morons will go 90 miles an hour over 2 inches of freaking ice during a snowstorm and think nothing of it. This, we have the worst drivers in Anchorage in the fucking nation, I believe. All right, let's move on from that. Okay. Well, we covered taxes. We covered the bad drivers. We can go over here and look at the facial book. No, let's look at the facial book and see what's going on. Anything. We'll stop at the top. And there's a meme about the Trumper. Say there's an ad. There's this. Oh, Jesus, this dude here. Motherfucking idiot. This insane broad. Maxine Waters. And these are some Indians. Oh, what happened to the cursor? The cursor went away. Oh, there it is. Oh, gotta get. Oh, there it is. Sometimes I lose my cursor. There it is. Okay. So what else we got here? Matter time, brutal car, Let's keep the Al Franklin. This piece of shit. This communist son of a bitch. This gal, that gal was working for the sergeant major of the army over on a USO tour show, and that motherfucker harassed her. She's married to a pilot, a US C-130 pilot, I believe. And he's got the audacity. They're on the C-17 flying back from the theater of operations, and she's dead tired and sleeping on that long flight. And he gets his fucking photographer and his asshole self, and he goes over and grabs her titties and gets a freaking photograph of it for his jollies. That piece of shit. That's such disrespect on so many fucking different levels for that piece of shit. Diane Fine. Oh, Jesus. Another crazy fucking liberal. And I don't know what that's about. Alaska has been urgently stockpiling for weeks. So what has Alaska been urgently stockpiling for weeks? Media hiding what Alaska has been urgently stockpiling for weeks. Here's what's coming. Trump was right. So I want to know what they've been stockpiling. I fucking live here. I've lived here for 30 freaking years. I get out once in a while. I get into Anchorage. I've got people I talk to. I listen to the radio and shit. What the fuck are they talking about? We're not stockpiling anything. Unless, they're talking about trying to stockpile intellect down in Juneau. Not now. I don't need that. Here's what's coming. What? The United States has faced many threats. Da, 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 da. In the year 2017, possible word, blah, 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 blah. Today, saw the sun rise in the east and immediately bring on signs to prove that they, okay. The possible death, okay. Alright, so evidently the North Korean rocket man moron has pronounced a sentence of death on Trump. Yeah, right. He's a... Yeah, try something, you stupid son of a bitch. That's what Trump wants. Trump wants you to try something. We have to be able to see that they provoked us. We want to turn that into an ashtray, you know, and we're going to, but we're walking this fine line. Well, do we wait until the fucker launches on us? We know he's going to try it eventually. You know, he's getting the capacity to launch and take out some American cities. So what can we do to take this dude out first? We have to turn that fucking whole peninsula into an ashtray. They're sitting in our time, yada 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 yada. While Democrat plastic, what is it about? Okay, likely to suffer an attack should North Korea use your finger someday is Alaska. So they think they're going to attack us. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. You know what the size of Alaska is? And there's only like 3 targets in the whole fucking state. And we have ICBM interceptors based, the only ones in the nation, and they're based in Alaska at Fort Greely. Okay? So we ain't worried about getting hit with... It's not us that's got to worry. Because if there's a warhead coming in our territory, we have the radars up here as well as the interceptors to knock them out before they get into re-entry phase. Okay? So we're not worried about it up here. But you motherfuckers down in the lower 48, you better start fucking thinking about boogieing out. The All-Soldiers family, okay. Well, most Alaskans are preppers. Most of us Alaskans have food and water set aside because guess what, folks? We have earthquakes every freaking day somewhere in Alaska. We get tidal waves, earthquakes, floods. You know, we're in the frontier. So most of us, we're prepared to live without electricity for months. Even years. And there's a lot of us in Alaska that don't have electricity other than what we generate from the sun or from diesel energy, a diesel generator. You know? So it ain't going to hurt us. You guys will be eating each other in a week. Okay, yeah, tell us about the Spaceports Complex. Yeah, I ain't worried about old Kim Jong taking us out. I'm kind of worried about them taking out Los Angeles, maybe getting as far east as, you know, like Cincinnati and places like that. I ain't worried about Alaska because there's, like I say, there's only 3 strategic targets up there, you know, and he ain't got that many nukes, and we'll have his nuke knocked out of the sky before it gets to here. But whether our interceptor missiles got the range to protect Los Angeles or freaking Washington, D.C. or New York, I'm not too sure about that. But I know Alaska, we will protect ourselves. Not only do we have the ICBM interceptors at Greeley, we got our aircraft capable of launching cruise missiles to take out satellites. We have, you know, the ability to take out missiles and stuff. Well, hell, we're a key military base for the North American continent. So Alaska, we're not worried about that stuff. We're just kind of like Guam. Like Guam's not worried either. You know, that's there's so much anti-missile, anti-air capacity floating around Guam. You could consider Guam as just a stationary aircraft carrier. A huge freaking stockpile of nuclear weapons aircraft carrier that them fucking idiots in the North Korea should think about before they start pulling some shit. Alright, that's enough of that. Alright, let's see. Well, let's go on back here. And so we haven't been preparing up here any more than we are. We prepare every day. You know, the guys at Gerber and up north, the military up here, and the civilians, hell, 3/4 of the civilians are ex-military. There's more veterans in Alaska than probably any state in the Union. So we're not concerned with those morons. You know, more concerned with freaking our stupid governor coming up with the income tax and calling it a payroll tax to boot. You know, at the bottom, remember that trough we talked about? We're at the bottom of that trough with the highest unemployment ever that I can remember in 30 years. You know, this is not as bad as '86 yet. People aren't taking their keys and going to the night deposit box and dropping them in there, you know, the keys to their houses like they were in '86, and taking the next flight out. You know, that was something else. There were like five or six banks failed in Alaska in that time frame. The real estate market just plummeted to nothing. It was a horrific time. Clinton's classified and discovered. Oh, whoop-de-doo. We all know Democrats don't go to jail. Clinton and Sessions is not going to do anything. They know that shit. There's two things. There's two tiers of justice in America. There's the one for us folks, and there's the one for the political rulers. You know, and they can't hide it anymore because they use it all the frickin' time. Oh my God, that's an ugly witch. Oh Jesus. Yeah, give me some money, man. The white audit for 27. Yeah, okay, all right. Well, there's just the normal goofy shit on Facebook tonight. So let's go. Let's see. I've ranted and raved for a good, well, I guess maybe 25 minutes or so. So I'll have to set a timer next time and figure out how long I'm ranting and raving. Didn't have any new material to show you guys tonight. It's been pretty cold outside, so I hadn't been able to really do a lot of photography. I've got old stuff I could show you, but you probably want to see some new stuff. But the good news is it's coming up to be a Iditarod time for Rondi. All the winter stuff's coming up. Got the ice sculptures, we'll be covering those. Fur Rendezvous, we'll be covering that. The Iditarod restart, we'll be doing that. And we'll be getting a lot of winter activities for you guys who don't live in a winter wonderland as we do, and who are interested in how a lot of us stay sane when it's, you know, 18 hours of darkness and sometimes 24 hours of darkness depending on where you're at for 3-4 months at a stretch. How we stay sane up here. And some would argue that we are not sane, or else we would not be living here. If we were sane, and we didn't have to live here, we wouldn't be here. That's the way it goes. But since we are here, that must mean that we are insane or on borderline insane. Okay? So give that some thought. And another concept you need to give some thought is are we living in a computer simulation? Quantum mechanics tells us that we are just computer simulations. Think about that. And we'll talk some more next time. So with that, I'm saying goodbye.